Have you ever wondered about the bones of a story? What did the outline look like before the characters hijacked it? Ophelia Key always wondered the same things about her own stories. As a discovery writer, the chaotic pantser style, not even the author knew how the tales in the Dreoith saga would go until they went backward, analyzing one story while busy writing the next tale or two somehow never happened. Apparently, OK put things off long enough, and some fancy computer magic will provide us with those long-wished-for story overviews. We can finally X-ray the tales from the dream and see their skeletons. Shall we investigate the next story in the dream?
All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're diving headfirst into the incredibly deep world-building and, frankly, very steamy paranormal romance of Ophelia Key's Dragon Medicine. We're going to look closely at how complex, magical realism collides with some intensely human emotions. Because, this isn't just about mythical creatures flying around, it's really about trauma, healing, and the sheer, incredible weight of immortality.
Right off the bat, the author, Ophelia Key, sets a vivid threshold for us to cross. She explicitly warns that we are entering a mature, deeply intense fantasy world full of complex magical realism. I mean, it literally says steamy, noble, dark fantasy, so it's definitely for a mature audience. This is a universe where fated mates aren't just a fun romantic trope, they're a fundamental law of nature that drives the entire narrative forward.
Part 1. Welcome to the Dream, Lore and Legend. Before we get into the emotional weeds with our characters, we really need to get a grip on the macro-level rules of this universe, what Ophelia Key calls the Dream.
Because look, the crucial thing to understand here is that this isn't just a standard standalone romance. It's a massive saga. According to the author's notes, the Dreoith saga chronicles the literal founding of an immortal kingdom. It's this grand story told through the eyes of various couples who find hope, and through their connections, they actively help restore the unbalanced magic of the world. Every single intimate moment serves a massive, world-saving purpose.
In the setting, it's a total trip. You might be expecting some purely medieval landscape, right? But instead, we're placed right in an alternate, magical realist version of Tyler, Texas, specifically around the year 016X. It's this eerily familiar place where myths, legends, and fairy tales walk right alongside the mundane realities of everyday life.
Moving on to Part 2, Immortals, Dragons, and Vampires. Now that we know exactly where we are, let's talk about the incredible beings who inhabit this realm and fight the forces trying to unbalance the magic.
The sheer variety of supernatural heavy hitters walking around is wild. We're talking dragons, valkyries, griffin knights, vampire lynxes, and these really complex supernatural hybrids. There's just so much power at play. But what's absolutely vital to understand about the lore is this. As these incredibly dangerous beings find balance in their fated life mates, the suppressed magic from the past is slowly revived. So love in this universe is literally a world-building force.
Okay, Part 3, breaking down the impact scene. Let's really zoom in on how this world building pays off by looking at a highly volatile excerpt featuring our main characters, Lila, Marchant, and a dragon named Imidi.
We've got this brilliant, intense contrast between our two leads. On one side, there's Layla. She's a newly minted hybrid, part griffin, part vampire. But she's deeply traumatized from her past mortal life and is simply seeking some platonic friendship just to anchor herself. On the flip side is Marchand, her fated mate. He is a fiercely protective, incredibly powerful knight, and his volatile jealousy makes him absolutely terrifying to the very woman he's sworn to protect.
But despite all those dark fantasy elements and the very real threat of violence, the story still holds on to this deeply romantic, almost nostalgic atmosphere. It grounds all that extreme supernatural behavior in very real, very tender love.
So the core conflict literally explodes here. Layla is confronting Marchand, and why? Well, because Marchand just brutally beat up Imre, a literal dragon, simply because Imre kept Layla company at 3 in the morning when she couldn't sleep. Layla has to fiercely assert her boundaries, reminding Marchand that having a platonic conversation doesn't diminish her loyalty to him one bit.
And when she confronts him, Marchand actually doesn't hide behind all his knightly power. His confession is just raw. His bloody, cracked knuckles aren't just the aftermath of a physical fight. They physically reveal his deep-seated emotional insecurity and the terrifying weight of a mortal jealousy. He genuinely feared that Layla, given the choice, would have actually preferred the dragon over him.
Which brings us to Part 4, Healing and Magical Balance. This is the thematic resolution of the scene. where raw magical power and violence absolutely have to give way to emotional vulnerability.
It brings up this absolutely fascinating dilemma. How do you erase fear when you live forever? How do these immortal beings, who are capable of incredible violence and destruction, heal the lingering psychological wounds of their mortal pasts? Because while their bodies might be invincible now, their minds are very much still catching up.
For Layla, her PTSD is a massive, massive hurdle. She vividly remembers her own human death, literally feeling her life draining away on a driveway. Because of this deeply ingrained mortal trauma, Marchand's overwhelming aura and his casual violence become a huge paradox for her. He is simultaneously a source of absolute terror, triggering her past fears, and the ultimate comfort she desperately needs to feel safe. So to actually move forward, they essentially have to go through what feels like dream therapy. Step 1. They have to acknowledge the violence Marchand committed. Step 2. Establish honest trust. Marchand has to own his mistake and lower his guard. And finally, Step 3. Layla has to freely choose to accept the immortal bond, realizing he acts out of a flawed but absolute devotion to her.
And that leads to a pretty profound realization. This intimate, personal reconciliation between two people perfectly mirrors the macro goal of the whole Dryoth saga that we talked about earlier. Restoring magical balance in this universe doesn't just happen through epic sword fights, it happens one couple at a time, through emotional honesty and finding equilibrium with a life mate.
I love this quote because Layla's realization is just incredibly empowering. She makes the active choice to let go of her mortal trauma. She recognizes that holding on to the human fear of violence and death is a liability now. To embrace her new strength as a hybrid immortal, and to truly stand beside a being as powerful as Marchand, she has to clear her head of the past.
Through this incredibly tense, yet undeniably romantic scene, Ophelia Key is showing us something vital. The greatest battles in the dream aren't actually fought with raw magic, fangs, or claws. The hardest battles are fought with trust, communication, and the willingness to be totally vulnerable with the person who holds your heart.
So, here's a question for you. If you were given an immortal life, could you truly let go of your mortal fears? I'm going to leave you with that thought to ponder. It's a heavy one for sure. As the intricate world of the Droithe saga proves, there is always so much more beneath the surface to explore when you mix eternity with human emotion. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring the depths of the stories you love.
I sincerely hope you enjoyed this view of a story skeleton, glimpsing the characters, setting, and plot structure along with the twists within the writing in this tale from the Dryoth saga by Ophelia Key. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more original stories and audio adventures. A special thank you to OK Music Writers for writing and for sharing the Enter the Dream soundtrack. It's more than a story, it's an experience. Welcome to the dream.